Peace and love, family and friends. Hello. Happy belated Father's Day to all of the wonderful fathers out there. I hope y'all had a great day. I hope the family blessed you guys with gifts, showered you with gifts, or just showered you with some peace and quiet, or a day in front of the TV, or whatever you wanted. I hope you had a great, great day. The fathers in my life had a wonderful day, and we showered them with a lot of love. Um, my son-in-law, he didn't get the quiet he wanted, but he got all the love he wanted. My daughter, my son-in-law, they have young kids, so he didn't get the quiet, but I think he got plenty of love on that day. So just shout out to all of the wonderful fathers out there. We love you guys and we need you. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much for being the man and the father that you are. All right, guys, as you can see, I have changed the name of my channel. You will find it under Zion TIS Network, and that is Tell It Like It TIS Network. It'll be under Zion TIS Network. Tell it like it is. Now, let me tell you guys why I changed the name. I changed the name because I've been on YouTube for a while, but I haven't really used YouTube. I just made an account kind of and didn't do anything with it. And for the past year or so, I've been um, speaking more on YouTube versus my Facebook page, trying to make the changeover. But I've been so busy, I really haven't been able to devote a lot of time into changing over my viewership from my Facebook to my YouTube. So I'm still working on that. I'm trying to find more time to put into doing that. But however, um, I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I have been, um, subscribing to different YouTubers, watching them, listening to their content, just kind of strolling these YouTube streets and getting familiar. And as I've been strolling these YouTube streets, there's a couple of things I found out. One, in these streets, there are a lot of agents. There are a lot of witches and warlocks. There are a lot of false prophets. And there are a lot of scammers. So that's what I have found while I'm out in these YouTube streets. And so um, I feel like it's time for me to take the gloves off um, and tell it like it is. You know, at some point, our people, we have to grow up and we have to not quit being so easily fooled by scammers and con artists. It's too much out there now. It's kind of like being catfished. In 2024, how in the world can you be catfished? It's simple. If you're talking to someone that never wants to show their face, never wants to FaceTime you, then that's a key that there's a problem because you can FaceTime all over the world, WhatsApp, YouTube, Zoom, you name it. So, we're kind of in that era where now I'm like, okay, why are you guys still being fooled by these people? I mean, it's just so plain for a lot of them that they're scammers or that they're false prophets. Um, and I don't know, we all come from different tribes, different backgrounds, different places. And so some things I guess some of us are used to. We're used to the con and we're used to it and we see it almost as normal. But anything that goes against your natural nature, anything that goes against you, it's kind of like those saying, doing to others as you have them doing to you. So if someone is doing something that you wouldn't want done to you, that's a red flag that something's wrong. It's really that simple. Because right now, a lot of these scammers and false prophets and false teachers, false preachers, they're just right out false. They're not even really trying to hide it good. You know, They dress it up a little bit and say peace, love, uh, uh, God bless you, Jesus loves you, uh, Prophet Muhammad said, Torah said, and they'll quote. But we have to remember, Satan knows the Bible just as well as anyone else, even better because he's been around longer, and his minions. So quoting scripture or being eloquent in speech does not mean that person is a good person and they believe what they're saying to you. Basically, you have to look at the person and look at the person and watch their mannerisms and watch what they do. If they flip floppy, come on now. Malcolm X said, a man that don't stand for something will fall for anything. Okay. Um, Bible said that God don't like a person lukewarm. You either hot or cold. If you flip flopping around and one minute you loving God and the next minute you blaspheming and cussing and stuff, you flip flopping. And so my thing is not to the person that's doing this, to all of the people that is following and believing. When are we gonna wake up, guys? When are we gonna wake up? So this new channel, that's what it's gonna be about. It's gonna be about really just telling it like it is. And I know a lot of people are not gonna like it, but you know, guys, some truth has to be told somewhere. You know, it's just too much conning, lying, scamming out here on these YouTube streets. Some truth has to be told somewhere. And we have to wake up. Okay. It's not my job or anybody else's job to hold your hand and guide you through this thing called life. That's between you and the good Lord. But you have to stand up and wake up. And if your gut is telling you something is wrong or someone's not right, 9 times out of 10, something's not right. Okay. So, the Bible tells us that there are wolves in sheep clothing. And what does that mean? That means that they're gonna look good, but they're a wolf. So they're gonna talk eloquent, they're gonna seem nice. But then on the backside, if that person is blaspheming, if that person is cussing people out, stealing from people, taking from people, abusive to their family, not taking care of their family, not taking care, of their spouses or whatever, that's 9 times a wolf. Okay. It doesn't take rocket scientists, guys. So, my whole thing is I'm not here to attack anyone. I'm not here to attack any YouTubers, but I am here to talk to the YouTube family because we have to wake up. We have to wake up and realize that, you know, this is 2024. People are going to try to con you. People are going to scam you. That's just what it is. And people make a lot of money conning and scamming off these YouTube streets. So my new channel will be about really talking about some of the issues and some of the things that other YouTubers are talking about, giving my point of view on that. Also, just world events, my point of view, take it or let it alone. I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but hey, it is what it is. And like I said, I'm not here to try it on any more YouTubers, but if it's a wolf, it's a wolf. Okay, if it's a lie, it's a lie. If it's a scam, it's a scam, and that's just what it is. And we have to wake up. We just have to wake up. Okay, we're making these scammers and con people rich off this YouTube because we don't want to wake up, or maybe we just find it entertaining. But the damage that it's doing is not funny and it's not entertaining. So that's what my new channel is going to be about, y'all. That's why it's called Zion TIS Network. It's going to be Tell It Like It Is Network. We're working on some things and some shows right now for it. Um, I will not be able to come every day because I do have a career and a family that and a community that I'm very involved in, on top of just dealing with health issues. So I won't be able to come every day, but I am most definitely going to try to come 2 times out of a week, um, probably on a Monday or Tuesday during the mornings, and then on Fridays for our movie review and just straight out talk. Now, this show that we're actually talking about today is Hidden Treasures. Um, I'm the type of person, and I've always been this way. I've always loved history. I've always loved learning. I've always loved seeing parts of the world, of course, that I was not born in, and learning about the different cultures and things. My daughter, as y'all have heard me say many times, has a degree in archaeology, so history and all that has just been a part of our family life. So, um, we ran across, and I think I ran across this a couple of few, well, it's been a few years back, of this treasure that was found. Huh? What about the scissors? I don't know. Do I look like I got the scissors? I'm on live. Do I look like I got scissors? That's my daughter, y'all. That's my other daughter. She coming in tomorrow. Where the scissors? I don't know where the scissors at. But anyways, I told y'all before, my house is a lively house. It's never quiet, not one day. But so we like to look at things. So I ran across this a few years ago, a treasure that was found off the coast of Africa. I'm going to share some of it with you guys, but I'm not going to share a lot of it just due to the fact that you know how YouTube is and trying to copyright and all that. So I got both of the copyrights up. We're going to view some of this under the fair use, um, criticism, reporting, teaching. The copyright 107 is up, guys. Fair use is up. Y'all gonna love this. Um, this treasure, it wasn't necessarily found by Damon Hirst. It was treasure hunters, of course, and archaeologists that found the treasure. But Damon Hirst is the guy. He was actually actually an art exhibitist, and but he had a lot of money, so he put the money into going and searching and digging and finding this treasure. So when y'all see this treasure, it is amazing. I'm not gonna, like I said, show the whole thing just because of copyright purposes, but I do want to share some with you. And then you can go back and you can look at the whole thing when you want to. So this is the Diamond Hearst treasure from the wreck. What you and Pluty want? Hmm. Yes, I'm live actually. So now my other daughter, guys, and my puppy Pluto is in here. One day I'm gonna have to show y'all Pluto for those of you who have not seen Pluto. Pluty. He is Jack Terrier and Chihuahua, and he is rotten. Okay. All right, baby. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show part of and we'll talk about it, and then I'm gonna skip and show you another part of it.
Well, you could see a beach, I assumed East African, and a community of fishermen.
Off the coast of where these fishermen are.
And the clip was entitled Fishermen Discover Statue.
Yeah. So this one fisherman was
A group of
fishing
fishermen have pulled something up in the net.
and found something in the net.
It looked like a curled up fetal monkey. To see something come out of the water that you can't quite explain, that's an adventure. You want to know more.
And y'all see it's solid gold.
I thought, if these fishermen found one thing, it stands to reason that there is more down there.
So
So I wanted to find this beach, and I wanted.
I'm gonna skip it up now. So when he found the beach and saw the piece, of course, um, they wanted to see more. So um, they had to get funding to, and of course they got the funding from Damon Hirst. Now y'all know the ocean is a whole nother world that we hardly know anything about. And that's the statue that they're coming across.
What's amazing is how it's integrated into the reef. and to actually see the corals and everything that's going on to it and the fish that are attached to it. But it's still a sculpture. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
To actually find something that's not been seen for,
And that's Damon
lifetimes.
Hirst.
It's almost like, finding something in its natural habitat. That's what's exciting about the whole project.
Nature is sort of claiming it, but it hasn't claimed all of it yet. So it's like there's the beauty of the nature and there's the beauty of the sculpture side by side.
And shout out to Hen Not
It's in a
Talk.
sort
This
of
is where you can
extraordinary
find it on
garden. It's
YouTube,
like
and
a
you
sort
can
of
go back and watch the
strange
whole thing. It's
Victorian
an hour
grotto
and
of
22
the
minutes and 18
underworld.
seconds. So we're just gonna watch a piece of it because I
It
want
takes
you guys
lots
to
of
really see how
years for
beautiful
corals
this
to
is.
develop, and you start asking yourself, for how long have these things been down here?
You've just got so many questions coming through your mind of how did they get there? How were they made? Who was it that possibly made them? And what size ship was transporting them? Why were they coming through this area? It opens so many questions.
And now I'm gonna fast forward it, guys, because it's long, but I want to get to the nitty gritty of
The huge pieces just scattered
some
over
of what
quite
they were
wide
doing.
area, buried at different angles in the sand. It's no sense really of what happened. There's no sense of accident.
It's just a story, but then if you actually find proof of it, it becomes that much more remarkable because it's actually true.
But one or two of the more credulous treasure hunters of the 20th century took this obscure legend seriously. I come from a background where we must have proof and we must have evidence. Ours is a hunt for knowledge and not treasure.
Any firm details about where the wreck may lie have been lost in
So
the
they've been
sands
looking
of time.
for
I started to
wrecks
believe
for a long time.
that the wreck had not been found, not because it was a myth, but because people were looking in the wrong place.
Captain Knowles swears he will leave no stone unturned until he has found the lost treasure.
Peter's romanticism, I think, sometimes got the better of him.
Now this is the boat. This was the present day of them going and looking.
A cyclops, demons, unicorns. It did tell us a little bit about Amotan's character.
And look, they done found two-headed jackal.
I think he genuinely believed in monsters. He believed in cyclopses. He believed in unicorns. I just think he was that type of
it's three-headed.
person. And I guess if you believe in them in the beginning, then you create things to justify their existence.
Look at that lion they found in the water. Look at that statue.
Whether it was this Amatan that Peter's talking about or whether it's somebody else, these are not objects that are just randomly chosen.
Look at that. Can you imagine seeing that under the water? It probably would scare me to death. Look at this
I'm not
statue.
prepared to say it is Amatan, but for my money, there's certainly somebody with a vision and with a dream, a massive dream, and a pretty big ego behind all of this.
So as you go on and listen to the video, you will find that they talk about how large the ship had to be to have all these pieces, because the pieces
I
were
can't
from
see
different
this as a
parts of the
trading
world.
vessel. There are very definite aesthetic choices being made here. I think if it was trade stuff, you'd see multiples of similar things. This seems to be more coordinated.
when they found the disc.
Obviously, Amerton had an idea of an audience, and
Expected time of arrival, 10 to 15 minutes from now. Over.
Okay, over and out.
Now watch this. They're gonna pull up, guys. It's amazing. Now this treasure, I'm sure, is worth trillions of dollars, and the people off the coast of Africa probably didn't get not one dime of it. But I'm sure this treasure is worth trillions. Look, the head of Medusa, solid gold.
Fantastic. How heavy is that?
Look at that.
There you go. What do you think of that?
I don't think anyone could ever imagine that something like this would happen to them. You dream about it, but do you honestly believe that it will? Probably not.
Straight into the water?
Yep.
I mean, the amazing thing about the gold works that were found is that gold doesn't tarnish, so they're totally timeless.
That's how you know it's solid
Shiny,
gold,
and it's
pure
sort of
gold.
dances in your eyes. You see it in movies. The guy opens the case and this gold shines on their faces. There are so many objects made of gold. I mean, this collector, he was obviously obsessed with it as a material.
Look at that.
Gold makes people do crazy things, you know, it's like has done for years.
Look
So
at
there's a lot of blood associated with
Look at
gold.
this, gorgeous. Absolutely fabulous.
Gold can drive people mad. I mean, who's to say what makes it like that? Is it its rarity, its scarcity, or is it, you know, is it something, you know, naturally inside the metal itself?
Unbelievable. Got it?
God.
Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Watch this right here. So ain't that gorgeous? Now I'm just gonna show you what they had in the museum. I want y'all to take a look.
Today, one of the divers uncovered a huge golden disc. And it was found in an area where we found many of the other gold items, but it was completely covered with silt. And obviously there's pressure now to bring it up as soon as possible.
Go ahead, over.
Andy, the weather's picked up a bit.
Right.
We weren't expecting any wind today. It's just picked up.
How long is it going to be before we know?
Well, we'll just take it hour by hour and see what the weather does. I've stopped all operations.
It's a very good move.
We'll postpone till tomorrow. For better weather.
We left a minimal crew on board. for now, just to keep it safe.
I'm
And
trying to get y'all to the
we're waiting for the weather to
museum.
clear. It's not looking like it's clearing, is it?
Thinking of it as a sort of statement, so it's like treasures from the wreck of the unbelievable, like it's kind of something inside your mind. Like the unbelievable is a place in your mind. You know, years ago when I was a student, I was living in a squat in White Hart Lane with some mates. In my bedroom, I could hear a guy who lived next door, and I could hear him through the wall. And then I stopped hearing him. I mean, we thought maybe something had happened. And then after I didn't hear him for about a week, I got my friends and I said, look, come on, let's go and have a look. So we kicked both doors down and then went in there. We actually went in, first of all, because we thought maybe he'd died. It was like the whole room was just filled with stuff and there was nobody in there. I found out later he was called Mr. Barnes, but at the time I didn't know what he was called. He was one of those guys that went round like with a shopping trolley and the bags, and he'd collect things, he didn't bring them back, so he was like a hoarder. The rooms were piled high with stuff, and I went to the top of these piles and I excavated through the piles and I found like every toothpaste tube he'd ever used, money wrapped up in bags, you know, lots of magazines from like the 40s and the 20s. It was like a whole bag of 50p's and then a bag of 2p's. He had a collection of like clocks. He sort of
So
converted
this
them,
is what
painted them,
started
mended them.
him in collecting, guys. We'll move it forward.
You know, I like the fact that Amatan was kind of nuts on the scale of what he tried to do.
Completely impossible to say whether this ship that ended up here was the Apostos. It certainly chimes with the legend, and it would have been similar in scale to the legend, but we'll never know.
Look at this, they're pulling up. Look at this. Look at that, guys.
I know that not all the pieces of the puzzle are here. I'm very aware of that.
Now,
But I think we have enough pieces of the puzzle to support.
now what you're going to find as you continue, as you watch this video. Peace, brother. How are you? As you're going to find as you're watching this video is that all these treasures that they found off the coast of Africa, they come from different parts of the world, and they're just almost in excellent condition. But Damon Hirst, who, like I said, he paid for the expedition. He didn't go on. He's actually a artist and a curator of art. They display the artwork. So if you go and you go to YouTube and type in Diamond Hirst treasure or Diamond Hirst exhibit, it is going to show you most of what they got from this wreck. And it is extraordinary.
Story.
It's extraordinary. The pieces, the gold, it's just absolutely extraordinary. Now, like I said, they got off the coast of Africa, but I doubt very seriously if that little village got a dime of this, because this treasure has to be worth trillions, not
When you
millions,
think about the whole
billions,
story,
trillions.
it's unbelievable to start with. But most things from history do seem very hard to
Look at
believe.
that. Look how big that statue is.
You know, you look at the Venus de Milo and look at the way the arms are cut off on it, and you think
So, of
somebody must have
course,
done that on
the
purpose.
millions that he put into this expedition, needless to say, was worth it. Because I'm pretty sure he's, like I said, a trillionaire, not a billionaire. Of course, he's a billionaire, but um, I'm sure some of these pieces went to private collectors, and then some they put in the museum. But it is absolutely extraordinary. So you have to go and look at the whole exhibit that they put out. And this is part of the exhibit that is in the museum. I like how they left the coral on some of these statues. And it grown on there. They didn't try to take it off. They left the coral the way it just grew onto the statues. You think about it. After thousands of years, these things, hundreds of years, they still are so intact. And they tell a story. Each piece tell a story from the time period. Look at those hands. Look at that. So each piece tells a story, but it's a huge treasure, guys, that they pulled out of the coast, off of the coast of Africa. One of the largest that in history that have been pulled up. The pieces are huge, they're small, they're solid gold. And what they found out that these pieces were from different parts of the world. So they knew that whoever owned the ship was very rich at that time. And they're assuming that these pieces were being collected for a castle or something like that because they were so specific and they were so detailed type work. So when you guys get a chance, go back, look up Damon Hirst treasures. Shout out um, to Hen Talks. They are the ones that put this on. They're on YouTube, and I think I'm gonna see if they got it. Let me see right quick, guys. If they got the whole thing under Damon Hirst, the whole exhibit. Let's see here. Yeah, there you go. Is that the exhibit? Company Classics. Let me see here. Because he was doing, that's the one we're looking at. Now I know in this exhibit right here, it has some of it there, but not all of the pieces. It might be this one right here. Let me see something.
We made USAA for homeowners who like being ready. That's why we have safety tips for things like fires, home security, and USAA insurance just in case. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for.
Small one. I don't know if this is how much of it they got. Let's see.
My feelings about the
Oh yeah,
the
they
whole
got some
exhibition
of
is
it.
that it feels like a history of the world through 100 objects. Most of their life
Now
has
this
been
is from
spent
that wreck that
at
I
the
was
bottom of the
showing
sea.
you guys.
They were with the collector Sif Amatan for a moment, and then they spend 2,000 years at the bottom of the sea. This, we think, is a portrait of Sif Amatan, the collector. There are 3 sculptures that we think are Sif, cast from when he was alive, but obviously he was arrogant, so he would have made himself. He probably was a lot uglier in real life.
So this is the one with the Mickey
Handsome
Mouse
devil.
exhibit, but some of these pieces are from that wreck, like that they dug up. So yeah, it's a crazy exhibit. He was doing a shark exhibit before this. Like an alien.
The sea's connected to everything. It feels like you're weaving in and out, like in a web or a grid, and it's like it's a huge part of the planet, an alien environment to us. So it's unknown. We're out of our depth. We're out of our comfort zone. When we see things encrusted in coral like this, they look even more beautiful. The coral sort of spoils the function as well of objects, and it becomes a kind of natural object. You think it looks amazing the way it is.
Look at that, guys. Look how big it is. It's sitting at the bottom of the ocean.
I think gold has kind of obsessed collectors for years, hasn't it? It's like it's the scene in the movie when you open the case and the gold shines on your face. It's like, I read something that, because at the bottom of the sea as well, gold doesn't tarnish. It never collects coral, hardly ever. It's like it's incorruptible.
Look at that. And that thing right there is huge, guys. I'm
The
talking about
story of
huge.
Medusa is that when Perseus cut the head off the Medusa, the Gorgon, the blood fell and formed coral. I mean, I've always loved the story of Medusa since I was a kid, and I think it's the great thing where you can, behead somebody, and through death, it becomes a weapon.
All right, that's weird. Medusa head is not something head I would.
Malachite is a poisonous stone. The Romans used to make lots of things out of malachite, but they would use veneers and very small mosaic pieces because it was difficult to carve. So something like this carved, I mean, it would take years to carve something like this, and it's a poison. Once the dust is airborne, it's very poisonous. So people avoided carving it and didn't want to carve it. So
Oh wow, I didn't know that it was poisonous.
Carved sculptures, and even the tongues are carved.
So guys, when you get a chance, look up his Damon Hirst, The Treasure. Watch the whole story because actually it's really interesting how they found the pieces, brought the pieces up, and how they went on exhibit. But there's so much to the world that we just don't know about. There's so much still to this world that we have not discovered. And that's why I always find it exciting to seek out new things, to explore different countries, different cultures, to read books that I have not read, to hear fables that I have not heard before, because there's so much to this world that we just do not know. And think about this, guys. Think about this. There's still so much to this world we don't know. So how do we think we know about heaven? It always tickles me when I hear people when they're confident in saying God doesn't exist, Jesus doesn't exist, Satan doesn't exist, there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no aliens, and my whole thing to that is, how do you know? You have not been able to conquer the earth that you are standing on. Okay? We haven't even discovered or been able to even explore, over, or less than, 80% of the ocean. So we've got 10, 20% that we're exploring, but the other 80 we can't even get to the depths of it. So how do you know? How do you know for a certainty? You don't know. And that's the point. You don't know. And that's why I don't like to speak in definites when it comes to things that I may not understand or I do not know, because I don't know. My mind, my learning is limited, period. So I would be wrong for telling people that it's a definite about something that I really don't know about. All these treasures have been laying at the bottom of the ocean. Um, it was a myth that there was a treasure like this. And I forgot the name of the ship. And people thought it was a myth, but obviously it wasn't. It was a myth till they found it. See, so just because you don't know something for sure doesn't mean that it's not true. Doesn't mean that it has not happened, or doesn't mean that it will not happen. So be mindful of that. We're finite. Okay? Our lives are short. Our understanding is short. Okay? We don't have the understanding of God or any supreme being. It's very finite. So I always it always tickles me when I hear people talking about what isn't. And even with the Bible, even though we know that man has tampered with the Bible, and other religious doctrine, who's to say what is and what is not? Who's to say? Can't say God didn't say it. You wasn't there. Somebody say, well, you can't say he did say it. That is true too. But I would err on the side of caution and say, yeah, if it sounded like something that benefits man, maybe he did, or maybe somebody close to him did. So that's why I tell people a lot of times you have to use common sense in life too. But you also have to have an understanding that you don't know everything, and you never will. I don't care how many books you read. There's always more to find, to explore, to learn. I was telling a friend of mine, we were talking about the fallen angels. And I said, you do know that more than angels fell to this earth. And she said, huh? I said, the Bible said a third of heaven fell. It didn't say just angels, it's the third of heaven. And if we read in Revelations that there were elders in heaven, there were creatures in heaven, beings, there were strangers in heaven. So there were different beings that in heaven, not just angels. So what does that mean for us here on earth? We don't know. But I can tell you this, it's more to the life we're living than meets the eye. And that's why I said that in these YouTube streets, we need to start being mindful of these agents that are out here to poison our people, to trick our people, to scam our people. We have to be aware of these witches and warlocks out here that look good on the outside. I was telling somebody the other day, do you think they're going to send a witch to you and she got a hook nose with a mole on the end? Or they're going to send a devil with red skin, tail, and horns? No. No. They're going to look very good. They're going to be very attractive. They're going to have a great oratory, all those things, money. Okay, as they said, the gift for gab. Why? Because that is what is going to pull you in. That is what's going to trick you into believing them. And that's what we have. So we got to be mindful of what in the world is going on, guys. Just because someone say they with you don't mean they are. My daughter got this saying, she said, you got family and you got relatives. Relatives are people just as she would say, they're kin to you by blood. Family is those who stand with you and support you and have like minds. So, we got, just because someone say they believe what you believe, watch them. Are they acting like you? Your life, are they of their lifestyle uh meeting what their tongue is saying? That's all I'm saying, guys. We just gotta be open minded. We gotta be more aware. We can't keep getting fooled and tricked. Okay? We just can't. So, like I said, guys, I wasn't gonna stay on long. I wanted to show y'all this piece because I said I was gonna do it today. Go and look up uh Damon Hirst and his lost treasure and his museum exhibits. And he was doing exhibits before this that people found amazing because he would have like sharks and different things in the exhibit. The average person would have an art exhibit because he's kind of, weird, in my opinion. But most artists are in their own way. So go look up his exhibit. Look at the whole thing. It's very interesting. Leave me comments. Tell me what you think about it. The exhibit. And, you know, um, if you know of any exhibits of lost treasures, put them in the comments. I would love to go and look at it and research it. But anyway, guys, like I said before, from now on, my channel name will be Zion TIS Network, which is Tell It Like It Is. And that's just what we're going to be doing and telling it like it is. Like I said, some will like it, some won't, but oh well. But that's the premise we're going to build this channel on, is telling it like it is and just telling the truth. Thank you, brother. You always support me. Thank you so much for coming and supporting me. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Please hit the like button and share. We are really trying to grow the channel, but we want to grow the channel with like-minded people. I want to grow the channel with like-minded people. I'm not here to go back and forth with anyone and all of that. All that beef and stuff. I don't do that. So even though some people may have some offense to what I may say, when I'm reviewing some people's channels. Hey, peace, sister, peace. Thank you for joining. I was just showing, and you can go back and take a look. I'll leave it up. I was actually showing a wreckage from matter of fact, I will put the front of it up so you can see. I was actually showing a wreckage from Damon Hirst. This wreckage was like, it's one of the most unbelievable it'd be absolutely unbelievable things that they found in the bottom of the ocean off of the coast of Africa. It was one of the largest treasures that they found in more modern times. And this treasure is it's gold, it's statues. And what they found was that there were so many specific pieces from different parts of the world that they're assuming that this was for a king or a sheik or someone who's very high up for their palace or castle, because of these pieces that they found. So go back and look at the whole thing. I didn't show the whole thing, of course, because copyrights, but I did show pieces of it. Take time, go back and look at the whole wreckage and how they found it. How much they found is just, it'll blow your mind. These pieces that were thousands of years old in the bottom of the ocean. And as I said, we're always in a constant state of learning, people. So anytime someone is speaking in definites with you, I would be cautious of that person, because we our minds are very limited. Okay. But this world is not, this universe is not. There's so much we do not know. There's so much that we don't understand. And like I said, I changed the name of my channel to Zion TIS Network. Tell it like it is. And the reason I did that is because I'm going to go a little harder on telling it like it is. Because I found that, I'll be off in a little bit, babe. Because I found that in these YouTube streets, we just got too many scammers, too many liars, too many witches, too many warlocks, dressed up in sheep's clothing. I mean, it's really bad. Um, I listen to some things that people talk about, and it's just it's sad. In 2020, we should be, in my opinion, so further in our understanding, further in our comprehension of life, um, spirituality, you know, and we shouldn't be taken so easily by these scammers, um, and these people, these proprietors of the gospel or of religion. So I just really want to really dive into some of the things that I hear. So what I will be doing is I will be um, keeping an eye on the YouTube streets and making commentary on some of the things that I hear. Not to get into it with YouTubers, that's not what I'm here for, but I am here to tell the truth to the people, just to make them aware. Now I know some people gonna follow people because they just want to follow them. They find it entertaining. But downgrading our women, calling them bees and hoes, and saying our men ain't no good, and um I don't see any benefit to any of that for our people, especially not our young people. I have a problem with that. So when I get a chance, that's what I will be doing. I will be coming on here, speaking my mind about what I hear, my opinion, on these YouTube streets. But I also, of course, will be bringing y'all stuff like this because I want to bring more content, or make our people more aware of content out there. When we get on YouTube, and if you notice, it's like everybody's talking about the same thing. They're talking about, um, one, is the Bible real? Is Jesus real? Is God real? Is there a God? Um, and every negative thing they can pull out of the Bible. If they're not talking about that, they're debating each other on the same word. Okay, it's the same word. I mean, you know, maybe a difference in translation. Some things are lost, and anytime you translate, we all know there's going to be something lost from that translation. But to me, it's just, um, I think it's just too repetitious. Okay, every time I get on here, it's the same subject, and if they're not talking about that, uh, you hear black men's not this, black men are not that, black women, they're not like this, they're not like that. And it's the same thing, or they're talking about each other. It's just ridiculous to me at this point. I think that we should be way beyond that, especially for us who are older. I don't really care who's sleeping with who did what. And in this, every time that you get mad at somebody, you call them a pedophile or they're gay. It's ridiculous. It's like child play in elementary school playground. It's ridiculous, and I just don't have time for it. You know, every now and then you tune in, and you might find it a little funny or whatever, but uh, it's not funny to our young people. It's not funny if, say, for instance, I'm on, and I'm talking about what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about um, treasures that were found, um, talking about positive stuff that, uh, uh, there's so much for us to learn. There's so much to explore. There's a whole world out there for you to explore and to see. And then the second thing out of my mouth is, you know what? Black men ain't about nothing. Now, all the positive stuff I just said or showed, okay, has been nullified by the fact that I just dogged out my own black man. My I just dogged out a part of me because my father's black. So if a young woman or a young man was listening to me and found what I was saying interesting, now they're like, well, dang, what am I to think of her? And am I to believe her of anything else she said? So we can't keep being double minded and fork tongued. We just can't. We just cannot. We have to stop this foolishness. Okay. I believe in turning off the foolishness. I believe in that. I believe we cannot support that because I don't think God is pleased with that. Um, we're making these witches and warlocks and agents rich off supporting them on these YouTube streets, and they're poisoning our people. They really are. I mean, how many times are we gonna talk about young Pharaoh? Okay, we know young Pharaoh has lost his mind. In my opinion, uh, I pray for his health. The pole boy is off his rockers. He seemed to be a shooting star, and I don't know if someone poisoned him. I don't know what happened, but he became a shooting star to a falling star. And but we're still pumping him up. We're still putting him up. We're still talking about him. We're still interviewing him. And this young man is on every platform he can, threatening people's lives, threatening the lives of his children, of his baby's mothers. I mean, when are we just gonna cut him off and say no more? You know, we look at carbonation in Nature Boy. People are still talking about carbonation in Nature Boy, and some are saying he was innocent and he got wrongfully charged, and the women on there, and they're doing fundraisers and trying to raise money, and I'm like, did y'all watch the videos of this young man? Did you really watch it? And I tell people all the time, from his court case, what everybody missed was he did not get convicted on what that girl said. He got convicted on his own mouth, because in the court of law, no means no. That's the court of law. That's the way it's written. It's across the board. And when he got in front of those cops and said, she said no, that is what got him. That is what got him. It wasn't really what she said, because she was shaky the whole thing, but it was his own words that really got him. That's what they convicted him on. So, um, but we're still talking about him, okay? And people are still rooting for him, and our young people are still rooting for him. And you got to look at how he did those young girls, and he has destroyed lives. He has destroyed lives with his lies and his falsehood. And we're still talking about him. We're still raising money for him. People are still sending money to these girls. They need to get out and get a job and get some mental health help. Okay. That's what we need to be telling them. Then we look at Jaguar Wright. I like Jaguar. I mean, I really do. I think Jaguar Wright is a phenomenal singer. Okay. Jaguar Wright is a phenomenal singer. She could have really, really went far. She really could have. She could have went far in her career. But because of, in my opinion, mental illness, which I think, it's bipolar, where she could have took some medication and really could have leveled her out. And then tragedy and things have happened in her life, she could keep it together. And now I feel like people are exploiting her, because she's good TV. So now all you turn on YouTube, all you're hearing about is Jaguar Wright, and is she lying about P Diddy and the the music industry, and most of it she's not, and we know that. We know the entertainment business have always been weird, okay, and it's always been trashy. We just ignore it because we like the music, and since we like the music, we ignore some of what the people do. But R. Kelly was not a surprise to us. R. Kelly has always been known to fool with young girls and had young girls around. We knew that before they took him to court. We've all heard about P. Diddy and his parties. We all knew that before, so we're not shocked. If we are shocked, you've been hiding. So now we're dragging Jaguar Wright all over YouTube. So all you're hearing about now is still Young Pharaoh, Carbonation still going on, and Jaguar Wright is the hottest thing. Umar Johnson is not as hot, but people are still supporting, sending money to Umar Johnson for whatever reason. I do not know. But he is another one that we shouldn't give no shine to. He should not be on not one. We shouldn't put his name in the algorithm at all. Okay. Polite is fading, but not all the way. We still polite videos pop up. I make sure that I do not hit them because I don't want to put them in the algorithms. But it's the same old stuff. Guys, the world is too big right now. There's so much going on that we should be talking about, especially in our community. Okay, versus who slept with who did what. And I am so tired of when I turn on one of the channels, oh, she's gay, and he want to touch my behind hole and suck this and suck that, and I am so sick of that garbage. I do not know what to do. Who cares? Okay, who cares? And you just find yourself, oh, let me click this off. They ain't talking about nothing. Oh, let me click this off. What happened to the content, the teaching? What happened to showing us something different? What happened to positive conversations? What happened to motivation? What happened to that stuff? Where is that at? That's what I need to see. That's what I want to hear. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I don't want to lay down at night and the last thing I heard was stink pee this and booty this and suck this and da da da. Come on, guys. If that's the case, I just turn on uh yeah, excuse me, one of the cop shows, LA Law or something. Hell, I don't need to come on YouTube. I turn on the news. So we gotta get back to better content, um, and making our people aware, hey, as my daddy would say, if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, look like a duck, 9 times out of 10, it's a duck. So if it's talking like a wolf, moving like a wolf, smelling like a wolf, even though it might look like a sheep, 9 times out of 10, it's a wolf. And you need to leave it alone. We need to get away from these witches, warlocks, and these scammers. guys. We need to let them fall in the algorithms. And the only way to do that is to quit clicking on their channels. It's just that simple. Let's find some people who have better content, who are talking about something. And who are trying to teach. I know I got a piece on my channel. I've got one talking about trauma that I really hope that everybody can go and look at. And then I have another one where we were breaking down parts of the Bible. And I didn't finish that series. You know, I was trying to wait till I built my channel up a little bit more because it takes a lot to teach that and break down things. And I didn't want it to fall in the back of the algorithm. So I was waiting to build my channel up to really go back to that series. But I am going to do that hopefully within the next month or so. Bring back up that teaching of how the Bible was put together. But yeah, it's complete trash, brother. And I'm so sick of it. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't put that in my spirit. You know, like I said, every now and then you turn to one of them and they talking crazy. It'd be a little funny for a minute. You might laugh at a couple of things, but um, you know, they just get too gutter for me. I can't put that in my spirit. And when they start degrading black men and black women, it really, really bothers me. And I just can't. I can't do it because, you know, I'm older now and I'm mature and I know how to just, you know, turn it off. But I always think about all of the young people that aren't old and aren't mature and don't know how to just turn it off. They're sitting here thinking, well, you know, that's the way to be. Somebody step on your toe, cuss them out. Somebody say something you don't like, cuss them out. Call them names. Talk about their mama, talk about their kids. Defame them. We're teaching our this next generation poorly. We're teaching them poorly. Because like I was telling my grandson, I said, there are certain things you can't say in certain places. Young man I was working with, some of you may know that I'm into real estate. And young man I'm working with, anyways, one of the clients felt that he didn't service her well enough. The offer was declined. And by the offer being declined, she was mad at him. That's part of it in the real estate game. So his thing was, well, I was doing you a favor by putting the offers in. And when he was saying it, I was trying to make eye contact, like, no, you're saying the wrong thing. But he didn't get it. So I jumped up and I went over to save him. And I just told the lady, I said, well, ma'am, we apologize, you know, for this mishap. And we apologize for it not being made clear to you how the process worked. And so, you know, after talking with her, I calmed her down and whatever. And so when she got off, he was like, well, I wasn't going to put up with it. She not going to do this and da, 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 da. And I had to tell the young man, I said, first of all, number one thing you learn in sales, that having a client speak bad of you is the worst thing in the world that can happen, because you're looking at just that one client, but that one client is going to tell someone, it's going to tell someone, it's going to tell someone. And before you know it, your name will be mud in the community. And it doesn't take long. So you have to try to appease that client as best as possible. And yes, they may be wrong, but you have to learn it. And the thing about it is, young people are so impatient, and we're not teaching them enough of those basic fundamental things in life that you have to have and need to get to the next level. I always taught my daughters never to burn a bridge because you never know how you're gonna come across it again. I said never, even in jobs, and you have the worst boss ever. When you leave, do it right, because you have to remember you're gonna need a reference. And if they lie on you, then that's a lawsuit. So, but if you do something bad, they can say, "Oh yeah, there he acted a fool and tore up the place and cussed me out." So we have to teach our young people better. And so I'm always trying to teach our young people. Look, let me tell you something. I grew up with a temper. People don't know it. My dad was military, okay, and my dad was one of the first black officers in his unit, and on the base that he was at. My father was a very mean man, very strict man. So I have a temper, and that was something I had to work on. Um, that temper and being patient. Um, and I'm glad that I did, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. So we have to teach our young people better. And how we do that is by, first of all, being an example. I can't tell you that I'm a woman of God and all the great things about the Lord, and then 2 minutes later I'm cussing somebody out and calling them bees and hoes. Are you going to really believe that I'm a woman of God? That should show. I shouldn't have to tell you I'm a woman of God. Being a woman of God, you should be able to see it in me, in my actions, in my lifestyle, in the way I live, in the way I walk. Okay, I shouldn't have to carry the scripture under my arm, and then every time I see you, I'm flashing in front of you, or every time I see you, I got to give you a scripture. No, my lifestyle, my character should show that I'm a woman of God. Okay, I don't shouldn't have to say nothing to you per se, but my character and my lifestyle should show. And so, you know, um, I know that I was very offended the other day when I was on my brother Judah's channel, not by Judah himself per se, but the conversation, because um and they may have been doing it for jokes, laughs, or whatever. But I still was offended, because I know people who didn't see it as a joke and laugh was listening as well, to the phrase nigger women. I hate nigger women, and my mama told me about nigger women. And da, 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 da. I was really offended by that, because black women and black men, but black people have given a lot, um, have given a lot to this land we call the United States, and they have given a lot to the world. Period. And I think that we so loosely disrespect those that have come before us and given so much and died so that we could have the lifestyles that we live today and have the rights that we live. And I just think it's a total disrespect when we do that. Um, and I think it's a disrespect for the younger ones coming up to put that in their mind, that the race that you come from ain't nothing, ain't shit, ain't zigzag. In Germany, ain't Scheiße. Okay, I think it's total disrespect. When I think about all the black women, the black inventors, Mary Van Brown, you wouldn't have your home security system if it wasn't for Maria Brown, Valerie Thomas. Uh, she's one of the reasons why we got the 3D technology. Sarah Boone. You wouldn't have an ironing board if it wasn't for Sarah Boone. Uh, Alice Parker. You wouldn't have your heating furnace if it wasn't for Alice Parker. Dr. Shirley Jackson. You wouldn't have that touch phone or them fax machines if it wasn't for her. Sari Good. You wouldn't have that cabinet bed. What do they call it? The bed that not Trundle. The bed that come out the wall, y'all. I can't even think about it. It'll come to me in a minute. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for her. You wouldn't have the laser probe that treat Cadillacs if it wasn't for Patricia Bath, Bessie Blunt. You wouldn't have the feeding tube if it wasn't for her. Uh, it's just so much. Marianne Kroc. Uh, that our black people have given. We wouldn't NASA would have never got the rocket off if it wasn't for a black woman. Okay. So to degrade our women by calling us nigger women, I just thought it was just a total disrespect to those who have paved the way for us. And we ought to be shamed because everything, if you look around your house or your life right now, the inventions and things that you're using, the things that they're using every day, partially was invented by a black woman. So we need to stop with the foolishness, and we need to stop spreading this garbage to our young people and to our people just in general and tell them the truth. Give them the real deal about who we are. So that's why I changed the name of my network, and we'll be talking more. And a matter of fact, I probably will do a show on black inventors, and I'll show um, women inventors and a lot of I could. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's so many I couldn't show them all in a show. Okay, but I am going to show you some black inventors, women and black men, and what all they have given to the world. And maybe we can change the way we talk about one another, the way we feel about one another. Yes, black people, we've been through stuff. Yes, we have some trauma we deal with. Yes, is everybody good? No, but everybody's not bad either. But we do have trauma. We do have things that we're dealing with. And the best thing a black person can do um, in a relationship with anybody is say, hey, I got some things I'm dealing with, and this is what it is. Just be truthful. I'm working on me. And then some of us, we already know, some of us, our pain is too deep. The pain is too deep. And some of us don't handle trauma well. And then we got mental illnesses this running through our people like wildfire, and they because the healthcare system for black people um is poor, so it really poor for mental health. So we got issues, guys. True, we do, but we're not helpless, and we're not hopeless, but we got to give each other more positive talks, more positive support, and tell truth and get away from the lies. And when we see the lies coming, we just need to go the other way. So, guys, that's it for the night. I hope you guys enjoy the treasure show. I hope y'all go back and look at it. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it. It's interesting what they found. And what I did once I looked at the show, I went back and kind of researched some of the fables behind the shipwreck that they so-called thought they found, which I found was interesting about where it came from and so forth. And I'm not going to tell you guys 'cause I really want y'all to go back and research it and look it up because that way you won't forget it. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Uh, Thank y'all so much. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. Y'all always support me. I love you guys. Appreciate you a lot. Please hit the like button and share for me. Um, and I'll be back on Friday. Now, last Friday we did the bin, and let me tell you guys, they struck my channel. I think someone called in because I wasn't on 10 minutes before they struck it. And the movie was from like 1972, I think it was 1978. Um, so it was an older movie, and so I knew someone had struck it. But I wrote into YouTube, and of course they reviewed it and said it was not against copyright, since I knew somebody had called it in. But I'm gonna post what movie we're gonna review Friday. I think I'm gonna do a Van Damme movie or something with action that we're gonna review on Friday. Um, I haven't made up my mind yet. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post the movie. You can watch the movie before, or you can watch the movie the day of we do the review. Everybody can turn it on at the same time, and then we go live and talk about it. That'll help with copyright strikes because I enjoy that. Yeah, 1972 being. Did you finish watching the whole movie? It was hilarious. Being was hilarious. So before I get off, let me tell you about being. I don't know if you uh Professor Lovely Lady, we watched Being Friday. It's called Being. It's on almost every channel on Roku. You just type in Being, it'll come up. It was Ben the Rat. So I watched it to the end and it was hilarious. But the kicker was at the end, Michael Jackson's song played. And I had totally forgot about that song. And so I was like, oh wow. That's why he sung that song. It was for that movie. I cracked up laughing. That movie's crazy. And I believe the little boy on the movie is going to be the next serial killer. But if y'all noticed in that movie, there were some big time stars. They weren't big time stars then, but they became big time stars later in that movie. So we'll Friday we'll go over a couple of those stars. We'll do a cap on Ben and go over those stars and that filmmaker and what happened to them. Yeah, you did. Yeah, so it's all good. But yeah, so we're gonna recap on Ben. Well, recap on Ben. And then whatever the new movie. But this time what we'll just do tidbits of the movie, but everybody can watch the movie from the TV as we're talking about it, and I'll pull some people on the channel while while we're watching the movie. And that just gives people on Friday night something to do. I thought it was this out of the norm and fun and kind of relaxing after a hard, week's work. So we'll do it that way. Ben was a brother. Look, I told my daughter all Ben needed was a coat and a hat because Ben was gangster. You hear me? Ben was gangster. All right. Only thing at the end though, Ben got a little bit too gangster. I almost got jacked up because Ben didn't want to go. The little boy was trying to warn him, get out, but Ben was like, nah, me and my people gonna take them down. So when I saw that movie, me and my daughter cracked up. It is so funny the movies you find on Tubi and all that. It's crazy. And I found another it was a B-rated movie, but it had a really good plot. And I'm gonna have to go back and find where that movie is. Um, it was like an alien invasion movie. So it was really good, you know. But it was funny. But anyway, guys, thanks, guys. Look, y'all have a good night. It's Monday. Get some rest so you can start tomorrow. We can finish this week. And I'll post up, put your notifications on. I'll post up if I'm going to come on. I got a busy week this week, but I might try to come on one more day before Friday. Once I travel these YouTube streets to see what everybody's talking about. All right, guys. Peace and love to y'all. Have a great night. And I will talk with y'all soon.